I think we have everyone. I think we can start, right? Yes, we'll be starting. Okay. Um, Welcome everyone to the final round of Justice 1.0. Congratulations on coming this far. We have several spectators here. I hope everyone is okay with spectators being present. You would be recorded throughout the speeches and throughout the entirety of this round. If anybody has any objection, please state it now or say it now. Um, Guess no objection. Okay, moving on. First of all, a quick roll call. Do we have OG here?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Do we have OO here?
Yeah, always here.
Okay, very good. Do we have CG here? CG, are you here?
Yes, we're here.
Okay,
Present.
thank you so much. MMD, are you guys here?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I am Aryan Rahman. I'll be serving as chair. With me on the panel, I have Arham Ferdoz Khan, Azwal Shomoy, Abrar Farhan Zaman, Sahib Rahman Khan, Siam Marjan, and Xavier Alif. Without further ado, calling upon the Prime Minister. Here, here.
Am I audible for you?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
I'll ask for a POI at the fifth minute, preferably from closing, starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. This is an active motion. The only thing matters is what Bruce thinks is the right thing to do. And the only thing matters that he fulfills his own incentive and his own purpose in this life, right? When does a person become a mass vigilante? He doesn't believe in the efficacy of system. He has no trust in there. He vehemently believes that the system has failed the people of Gotham and have failed the most vulnerable people there. And the only way to bring in justice is to take down the system and totally reform it, right? He lost his entire family to this failed state. He lost his surrounding, his friends. From his childhood, he has seen this city is rotten to its core, right? He has seen harms done to the most close people he can have. He cares about the fact that he cares about the harms done to people he most cares about, and police didn't care even after being told, or they too were all accomplices of the system itself and were working within this rotten system. They failed to provide protection at every level. The only thing for him left to do is to turn to vigilantism, and he, after turning to vigilantism, saw even closer what would happen if he wasn't here. He knew his every move, and if his possible failure in those moves would mean harms done beyond imagination, that he could not live himself if those were done, even after his existence, right? This means the only thing that Bruce cares about is exposing and taking down the system and exposing it to the public. Why hiding Harvey Dent's true reason of death would be hiding the absolute failure of the system, right? Because understand what how Harvey's death directly correlates to the failure of the system itself. Because Harvey was the only one working within the system to correct it. He was the hope of these people that where we had Batman trying to protect us through his vigilantism. We had someone who knew how to do things within the system and trying to bring some kind of protection, some kind of justice from within the system. But this person was like the hero of within the system and hero of the people, right? But the system even fails to protect it and failed to protect his family, which led to Harvey going rogue himself. This solidifies to the public that even the person who probably works within the system and had the most chances of making their life somewhat more secure and somewhat more better, even he was not secure in the system, and even he could not bring about any change specifically, or could not bring about anything that actually helped people. But he even had to turn into some form of vigilantism and going rogue to himself, right? So this solidifies in the public the absolute nightmare the system right now is, and this in turn legitimizes Bruce's own vigilantism, because people understand that this is the only way for redemption, and this is the only thing that can actually help them in some kind of way and can actually help them take down the persons responsible for this. So what is the conclusion of this? Conclusion is, if Bruce now ends up hiding this thing, he ends up hiding the system's failure. He will be enabling a mass failed system, which in turn means he will feel he had the chance to reform, he had the chance to protect these vulnerable citizens of Gotham, but he cannot, right? So what is very definite that Op is going to run some form of argument about
POI on the
why.
previous point.
I'll ask for a POI. Op is going to some kind of point about how like Bruce cares about Harvey's image, etc., the value of friendship, right? But why is that all of these things like does not is secondary to this single incentive, right? Because as we like proven to you, this is the only incentive that Bruce himself cares about because this has been his entire moral compass for a very very long time, right? This has been his character arc for a very long time, and he has put himself through hell to actually come to this factor, and this is the only identity he holds of himself clearly, right? He pushes other people away and stuff just so he can do this to the best of his abilities, and if he doesn't do this now, his entire worldview collapses because he understands that even he probably could not expose the system to the fullest degree and is some kind of accomplice in hiding the truth from the people of Gotham, what happened to the hero and how even he was failed by the system, right? So this like entire idea about his incentive weighs over any kind of idea of friendship because understand this man was on a solo journey for a very long time, thus to him leading to being a vigilante, and him thus to him these connections are very secondary and less important than his vigilantism. So why is that um, the Bruce being disgraced significantly hampers his vigilantism, right? Because when Harvey Dent was there were two heroes. There was like Bruce working outside of the system to protect these people, but Harvey isn't here anymore, and that's why. And even now, if Bruce's image fails, these people, the people of Gotham, have nothing to hope for, and this hope is something that the Harvey like worked to give for a that Bruce worked to give for a very very long time, right? So people lose their huge sense of security and they start to view like Bruce himself as part of the rotten core of the system. And they become very confrontational and aggressive every time he comes out in the public. He's seen in the public, right? Because his like identity as someone who protects a little guy completely crumbles both for himself and both for the people of Gotham. Before moving on, POICO.
Yeah, so why do you think it's a good idea to let everyone believe that vigilantism is the only solution your city can have?
Because this is Gotham, as we have talked about, every facet of the system is corrupt, and people who are like there are people directly working willingly where within the system to like make keep it that way because they profit of this thing, right? So why moving on, so why him being disgraced significantly hampers his vigilantism, right? So people lose their huge sense of security and any future interaction with the public is very confrontational and shameful for Batman. His own identity about protecting the little guy crumbles when he's told by these people who he wants to protect that you're not for us, you're causing harm to actively causing harm to us, and his only living purpose is gone from him because now he's not seen as the protector, rather just another part of this rotten massive system that keeps them like subjugated, right? So the second way into this is that his living purpose, which was this like providing security for the little guy who had no support, right? He's a masked vigilante, which means he probably does not seek out these kind of material possession or external incentives. Thus, his whole identity is like dependent on this fact that the existence of Batman provided security for these people. And when he fails to do this, or when people don't see himself that way, he is constantly questioning his own moral compass and whether he's doing this thing is right and whether he's actually able to protect these people, right? And lastly, why Harvey's image isn't as despaired, right? This is important to understand because people understand grief response. People understand that when you deal with the death of your own family, how it kind of drives you crazy. And also, people probably have more reverence for someone after someone's death. So in this case, the absolute necessity for us is to like try to save Bruce's image over like saving Harvey's image because Bruce is the only hope left for like this city, and this is the only thing he cares about. This is protecting Gotham. Very proud to propose.
All right, thank you, ma'am, for that very fine speech calling upon the leader of opposition. Here, here.
Okay, hello. Am I loud and clear?
Yes, sir, you're very
Hello.
loud and clear.
Okay, give me a couple of takes to set up my scripts. Okay, so some deliberate declarations are left to take POIs through text and kindly don't badger through voice, and I'll be self keeping that time myself. So I'll be asking for POIs between 5 minutes and 6 minute marks. So be ready with your POIs. And I'm expecting POIs from the opening government and closing government both. But still, I have a lot of matter to dump. So if there will be time, I'll be taking the POIs. Okay. So look, and my preferred pronouns are he and him. Without further ado, I'm gonna start my speech in three, two, one. Today, we debate not just a question of truth, but a question of survival for Gotham. And you have to understand why, as a vigilante, why do I really care for Gotham, and what does really Gotham means to me? And as a vigilante, what does it really? Why do I really care about this particular thing? For its people, for its like you have to understand, it is about the survival of Gotham for its people and for the very ideas that holds this city together. The proposition tells us that the honesty is permanent, and we tell you that Gotham does not need the truth; it needs hope. And in exposing Harvey Dent, we destroy very foundation upon which this hope is built. So first of all, you have to understand our stance is very simple. As Batman, as Batman as the vigilante, I will not expose Harvey Dent. Why? Because while the truth is virtue, while truth is a virtue, it is not always necessary. My duty is not to serve the truth at all costs, but to serve the Gotham, ensuring its survival and its progress. You have to understand what happens if I do really expose Harvey Dent. Gotham will lose the symbol of its justice. Harvey was not just a man; he was the beacon of hope. His anti-corruption reformation, his legal victories, and his reputation were the first time Gotham believed that change could have happened within the law, without mass, without vigilantism. The people lose faith in the system. The if the man, if the man they trust was the murderer, then what will they be thinking about? Do they have a leader? Police officers who reformed under Harvey leadership will be revenge of their old habits. The justice system, which Harvey did really took a lot of time to create, the justice system will be collapsed into corruption once more again. The crime will be surging over the roads. The criminal underworld thieves like Joker who chaos the fair. Once Gotham sees Harvey was no better than them, crime lords will exploit this kind of delusional stuff and growing stronger in the power of the vacuum who lived behind the wall. Even if you look in the historical part, even every city, every nation, every movement has released the figure of the inspiration to drive the change. Civil rights movements needs their symbol. Every single revolution needs their leaders. Gotham needs the white knight of them. In the real world, when trust illustrates fall, society crumbles, Gotham will be no different. The proposition will argue that justice demands the truth, that Gotham must confront these realities. We say Gotham is not ready for the truth. This kind of perfect world, we could reveal that Harvey's time and system will recover, but Gotham is not a perfect world. It is fragile, it's corrupted, broken city. It's the age of chaos. You have to understand, revealing the truth does not fix that. It shatters the little progress that has been made by the white light and the dark light. You have to understand, at the end of the day, what is at stake of this particular debate? The death of Harvey Dent was a tragedy. The death of Gotham Hope would be that much of a catastrophic scenario where people are so much vulnerable. They don't know that either another white knight will be coming or not. They're counting and keeping the legacies of Harvey, and they're doing their own. Millions of citizens will fall back into the fear, apathy surrounding the crime and corruption. I, as a vigilante, will lose all moral authorities, not just as a vigilante, but as a perspective of the city. I want the betterment of the city. I don't need other things. So, what is more important? Truth or survival. The proposition for will prioritize truth, even if it destroys Gotham progress. But you have to understand, as the vigilante who I have been brought up in the city, have my emotional trust in the city, I will have to prioritize the city's stability without any other thing in the world. Gotham will never escape the cycle of the crime if I do this kind of stuff. First of all, here comes Yeah, our argument. Our arguments will be my first mission is never about the truth, about the Gotham survival. You have to understand, I became a vigilante to protect Gotham, not to justify my stuff. That dark side opening government talks about. Then yes, somebody kills my parents. That's why if I kill any kind of criminals, it will be just it doesn't really work like that. Never ever the vigilante came into the crime scene Because of that, he came for the survival of the Gotham. Gotham needs a hero. It never needs the truth. You have to understand, hopes and beliefs in the judicial system comes more important absolute truth. Gotham's fragile stability depends on the symbol of justice that people can believe in or you can believe in. You have to understand that third argument, the city will fall back into crimes and corruption. And I, as the one of the well-wisher of the city, I will never want that. Exposing Harvey will undo the progress that has been done by the right man, by me, will be done and dusted again. It has been made which has been against the crime, the corruption, allowing criminal to corrupt again and again and take the regime control again. Here goes stability over scandals. You have to understand the city stability of the future are more important than revealing past mistakes. Exposing Harvey serves no products and productive prospects will be in there, but rather than Gotham will not be in another safer place. I am as a shadow. So Yeah, I can. Gotham have the okay, I'll be telling you a little bit more later. You have to understand, I am the shadow. Gotham needs what? Gotham needs a light. I was never meant to be Gotham's hero. That was Harvey's role. My duty is to protect Gotham. Never it means to be hated. You have to understand, what do I really expose? If I expose the truth, I 6% absolute Gotham expenses. You have to understand, prioritize my own reputation over the city's survival. If I uphold the lie, I remain the villain Gotham needs to be. I ensure that its people. You have to understand. I never want to be a hero. I never want to be another thing. What do I want to be? I want to serve the whole Gotham. Two heroic sacrifices must be done in this hero. In this scenario, I need this kind of stuff. As Gotham must vigilante, my duty is not to bring the truth. The thing I do know, I do need is the long-term survival. Exposing Harvey Dent will destroy the Gotham's future, will destroy the Gotham's long-term stuff. On the other hand, I will not expose the Harvey Dent. Finishing in 15 seconds. Two more extensions. The psychological warfare where people fight for the time and it will be collapsing. And another, the myth of noble life. All societies that will this kind of accepted truth will be discriminated in your world. That's why as the vigilante, suppose that I will never expose Harvey because he was the white knight, I'm the dark knight, I will take the guilt, but on the exchange of survival of the Gotham. Thank you, Alex Speaker. Thank you to all.
I'm all right. Thank you for that fine speech, sir. Please be a bit mindful about the time. No one is going to write anything after 7 minutes and 15 seconds, so extending is not going to be beneficial for you. Okay, moving on. Calling upon the Deputy Prime Minister to continue the opening government's case. Here, here.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're
Loud
audible.
and clear.
Okay, give me 15 seconds, I will start.
Sir, are you saying anything? I don't think you're audible anymore.
No, 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 no. Regarding POIs, I will take one from closing. Ask POIs through voice. Yeah, and don't ask POI like beyond the protected time. Please ask one within it. That being said, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. This is an actor motion, which means what Batman genuinely believes, or this particular vigilante genuinely believes, is that vigilantism or working outside the system to take down the system from top to bottom because this is so rotten to the core, because he has seen that from so close up, and creating a new system which is free and is able to provide some form of legal security to the vulnerable people of Gotham. This is the ultimate incentive of a vigilante, and that's why he has become like a vigilante at the first place. Sanjana gave you three reasons for it. One, because of his initial life experiences, that he has seen that his entire life was demolished because of this corrupted system, which weren't able to prevent crimes or protect his family, or which was the reason, primary reason, why his entire life was snatched away. But also, while he was growing up, he saw his close ones, like families, neighbors, being hugely harmed because of the inefficiency of Gotham's legal system. And thirdly, when he worked as, like, as the like vigilante protector of the city, he saw close by how inefficient the system is. This all means this is his primary incentive, that he wants to take down the system. And secondly, as he has seen vulnerable people being suffered because of the high rate of, like, inefficiency of the system and crime, he wants to provide a sense of security for the people of Gotham. This is what all Batman cares about. Now, moving on to substantive or responses, opposition. Firstly, I'm unclear why the truth is important, because we never claimed Batman will be doing this to for the truth. We claim that he will be doing this to not enable a failed system and to prevent crumbling of the left hope that Gotham people have, right? But secondly, they claim that Harvey was the hope within the system, right? Understand, our argument is that even if there was hope within the system, Batman doesn't want that to persist, because Batman wants people to know how evil the system is and how corrupted the system is, right? But thirdly, the fact that the system cannot be fixed with people like Harvey Dent strengthens Batman's idea of working outside the system and taking down the system, right? That being said, let's talk about vigilantism, because the second case Ob gave was increase in crimes, and Batman do not want that, right? Because Batman wants to decrease crimes, right? Understand, everyone won't suddenly start believing that rogue violence is the way to do everything, right? Taking down the system that Batman wants to preach and Batman wants to show, and people who follow him believes on this. This is not synonymous to rampant violence. That means increase in crimes won't happen in just a minute, right? Because people who follow Batman follow one basic principle: you can harm the enemy, maybe not in the legal way, because legal way is not working, but the one thing that you follow is never to harm any innocent people at the first place. That's why, sure, what changes is people resort to violence to protect someone who is being harmed or who is being robbed, or take down palaces of Gotham's administrator. That is what changed. In these aspects, violence increases, but it never translates into actually killing, going into the road and actually killing innocent people, right? That being said, but there are also two additional reasons why crimes do not increase. Because if Batman, like, if Batman's image is still there, as in outside of the house, which is still intact, people do not take vigilantism in their own hand, because they believe that even if legal system do not work, even if I'm frustrated and I have to do something about it, I don't do anything like, to do rampant violence, because Batman is there to do that vigilantism for us. People do not just take to the street and take everything on their hand. At the point in which even Batman falls, the frustration translates into actually doing more crimes in the street, and people taking crimes or like paths of crimes in their own hand. But secondly, now even for people who used to believe in the system and Harvey Dent, now is hopeless because Harvey Dent fault. He went rogue. They are also completely hopeless. So if Batman's image do not persist, they are the ones who resort to crimes, who does more crimes, because they are the unique actors who become the most frustrated, because even the one hope within the system died. That being said, let's move on to, like, how the system is becoming more entrenched. Before that, POI.
Do you think because if Batman doesn't expose Harvey Dent, do you think he can never work as Batman again?
Yeah, he cannot, because one, he lose the trust of every people who ever believed in him or felt secured because of him, because they all believed that they were there to protect them, not kill the innocent people, right? That was his one, like, unique selling point. But also the fact that if he's exposed, he will probably be taken into jail and like taken, and all of the things the system used to do to delegitimize him now becomes true. This will further be explained when I explain how the flawed system becomes more entrenched because the system had wanted to take down Batman for a long period of time. Why? Because Batman's action are actively antithetical to the incentives of legal system, because he's a hassle, like the police face so much hatred and belittlement of the system because of the existence of Batman. So they actively tried to make Batman as a rogue guy who framings like, okay, you guys will understand one day that Batman is not good, he's evil inside. This all becomes true when Batman publicly admits that he did all of these horrible things. Batman is taken for forever, but also its second implication is that the flawed system gains huge legitimacy here, where the positions of the corrupt administrator within the system is cemented, and Batman thinks he is the reason why the system can never be taken down, because it has gained so much legitimacy now because he has given the silver key. This is the most important thing for Bruce, because his entire moral calculus has been built throughout by hating or by not allowing this corrupt administrator to cement their place. Lastly, this means that when Batman takes down his own image, and also Harvey Dent isn't there, people lose their sense of security, because people felt secure before because Batman was there. Even if police didn't look after, Batman was there. Now Batman thinks that now that I have tarnished my own image, the vulnerable people of Gotham do not have any security or sense of hope that they will lose. This means he feels like he's the reason why these people are in a frantic state, and all of the crimes these poor people are committing because they are hopeless and frustrated, it's his fault at the first place, right? But also his living purpose was providing security for the little guy in Gotham for the entire part. He was masked vigilante because he rationalized within his head that his entire existence was for the purpose of providing sense of security for the little guy. This tarnishes. The weighing is, he doesn't care about friendship or protecting friendship much, because he is a solo guy who was on a solo mission, and he has never formed any meaningful relationship over his life. So that means he cares about moral calculus, like providing broader sense of security more than protecting individual friendship or some form of individual morality. That means his both incentive of taking down system and protecting the sense of security of vulnerable people is ensured in OG. This is the most important thing in the debate. Proud to propose.
All right, sir. Thank you for that fine speech, calling upon the deputy leader of opposition to end the debate for the opening houses. Here, here.
Hello everyone, just to check if I'm properly audible. Panel,
Yes, sir. You're audible.
thank you. I'll be starting quite shortly. I'll be taking a POI from CG. So CG, please have your POIs ready and take them on voice. I'll pick up your POIs if I can cover up everything within 5 minutes. Also, preferred pronouns are he, him. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Although my first speaker gave you a proper picturization of what Gotham looks like, opening government actually came and disrupted it a lot. So I need to actually show you what Gotham looks like and what Gotham is and what the vigilante or Batman that everyone has agreed in this house actually looks like. Okay. When Harvey Dent came into the scene, that was the point that was a point in time in Gotham when Batman had already taken care of some of the most biggest criminals in the world, and he had Chief Gordon helping him out in the police administration while nobody else known about it, right? When Harvey Dent comes in as the district attorney, what does he do? He is the first person in Gotham to actually challenge the system. He was the first person in Gotham to go up against the mayor even in challenging their corrupt ways and actually bringing out Lourdes, right? He was the one who made sting operations. He was the one who found the drug cartels. He was the one who went up against Salvatore Meroni, right? In a legal way, not through vigilantism, in a legal way. He was the people's hero. Why is all of this important? It is important because at the end of his at near the end of when Harvey Dent went rogue, he actually formed a connection with Batman, and they both worked together because Batman saw that Harvey Dent was a man who took his own vision. Harvey Dent was a man who held the same vision as Batman, who wanted what was best for Gotham and was willing to do everything required for it. That means Batman actually saw Harvey Dent as his successor. Batman saw that, okay, I can now not be a vigilante anymore because there is a man who will properly take care of Gotham. That was the man Batman envisioned Harvey Dent to be, and that was the man Harvey Dent was envisioned by the people. Harvey Dent was visioned by the people as their legal savior, number one. That is why Harvey Dent is very crucial for Gotham's security, Gotham's prosperity, and Gotham's stability as a whole. I'll come back to this. But before that, some some rebuttals for opening comment. Number one, Batman became a vigilante not because he saw a lot of loss and because all that loss shows that he does not trust the system. Here's the clean rebuttal. Number one, Batman does not trust the system. True, but he does not believe that the system can be challenged, or he does not believe that he is the one who is the executioner, or he is the one who's going to bring justice. Right? Batman does not harm the criminals. He actually catches them and then hands them over to the police. Why? Because he believes that because the policial system is not working up to its fullest, the police system is not providing. I have to provide for the police system, but I am not the judge and jury of the system, right? I am not the one who's going to make the decisions. That means, as Batman, I don't want the system to actually be corrupt. I want to actually fix the system. And Batman dreams of a time when he does not have to be Batman anymore, when he does not have to go out every night and save the city. That is a dream Batman fosters. And Harvey Dent, and after Harvey Dent's death, the kind of reforms Batman had, the Harvey Dent initiative that took down almost 300 different criminals on different charges were put down under the Harvey Dent Act. These are times that Gotham saw positive reforms. These were times Gotham actually saw positivity being spread out to us, and that is the kind of stability that Batman wants. That is the kind of a world that Batman wants. That's what Batman wanted for Gotham, which is why he is going to be moving on with Gotham's security and state. Another thing, it is not synonymous with crime that people who follow Batman, who know Batman as a hero, will not take to the streets. When Batman was a vigilante before Harvey Dent, people got into the streets wearing Batman similar clothes, took guns, and wanted to be vigilantes themselves. Batman stopped them and said, and when they asked that why can't I be a vigilante and you can, what gives you the right? Batman says, I'm not wearing shin pads. Why is that? Because number one, Batman is far more equipped than a general person to be a vigilante. Number two, not everyone holds a perfect moral compass like Batman. When you look at the entire story of that specific universe or that specific world, Batman is the man who always holds his moral compass true. That's what makes him unique. That's what makes him special. He's the guy who will take the right decision even if it hurts him. He's the guy who will take the right decision, who will save others even if it hurts his own image,
Right,
if
sir.
it hurts his life. It does not actually matter about that. Now I'll take the POI.
Uh,
CG.
sir, why do you think that people in Gotham are like not helpless in your side of the world?
Why do I think people in Gotham are not helpless in my side of the world? Because even though Harvey Dent died, he died a hero. People did not know him as a villain. Because after Harvey Dent's death, the police force actually came together. The Chief Gordon got a lot more authority. The new mayor got a lot more authority. And the police system was actually reversed. The Harvey Dent Act was in place. And Batman was not required for a long time until Bane came around and fucked up the city once again. And the city was actually starting to heal. I believe that the city has a chance to heal. Batman, that's what, as Batman, I want. I want this city to heal. And that's the opportunity that actually Harvey Dent brought up to the city. Now, moving on to the clashes, and I'll clear our arguments also through the clashes. Number one, justice versus stability. Does Gotham actually need to know that Batman is a vigilante, or does Batman care about it? Number one, Batman does not care about his own image. That has been proven in the house. Number two, Batman does not want to be a vigilante all his life. He wants the city to be healed, and once the city is healed, he'll hang his cape and he's walked out. That means what Batman wants is that the city to be stable and actually provide for itself and actually take care of itself. And for that, the city needs a hero that they can look up to. That is why important. Number two, the role of symbolism. In order for provenance dependent, when Harvey Dent died as a hero, the people saw him as a hero. The people regarded him as a hero who stepped up for Gotham. So that is why how Harvey Dent inspires people. Not a masked vigilante who's outside the law, but a person of law who stayed within the system but actually worked to benefit the system, actually worked to benefit the people, actually worked to save Gotham and benefit Gotham. That is why Harvey Dent is a better image, a better moral model, a better symbol for Gotham compared to Batman. And even Batman himself believes that. Number two. Number three, short-term versus long-term consequences. Would Harvey Dent's expose actually bring in reform? What would happen if Harvey Dent were exposed? If Harvey Dent gets exposed today, people would actually start to say, okay, the person we thought as a knight in shining armor, even he cracked. Even he cracked just because his wife died. He believed that he had the right to kill police officers. He had the right to kill mob leaders. He had the right to kill children. This is what Harvey Dent believed just because his wife died. That means, does a true right person actually exist? People's trust in people trust in heroes, people's trust in actually the system breaks. And when the people's trust in the system breaks, they don't actually follow the law anymore. When they don't follow the law anymore, that's when chaos ensues. That's when a city goes down. That's when a city actually falls. Why? And finally, Batman's moral obligation. By allowing this falsehood to continue, by allowing his vision or Harvey Dent being a hero, is Batman actually harming any of his values? Not really. The people are understanding why this city is important. The people are understanding why this part is important, and they are actually working and believing that Batman is the one who is going to save them. Right. Extension. Now, moving on to finally, I'll finish off with the extensions one by one. Going on. Number one, the psychology of the people. A city is not just institutions or their institutions, police officers, criminals are fine. It's the people, right? That no, and the people who are want no number of reforms of police officers can actually fix the city. No number of law enforcement can actually bring the city over. What can actually fix the city is the people believing that okay, our system works, therefore we're going to trust on it. And the long term impact of it that is, even if crimes rise, people trust the system to take care of them, and the system which is already going into a form of reform will actually take care of them is a highly likely case in our side of the world. Number two, this is the last part of the scene. I'll finish this in 15 seconds. The society is built on selective truths. The society does not need to know everything, but what the society actually knows has to be helpful for the society and be helpful for the symbolism, for the stability, for the society to actually function, which happens in opposition side of the case. So please vote opposition. Opening opposition, just to be clear.
Nice.
All right, sir. Thank you for that fine speech. Calling upon the member of government to start the case for the closing bench. Here, here.
হ্যালো, আমাদের এখানে অনেক জোরে আজান হইতেছে। ক্যান আই জাস্ট ওয়েট আনটিল দ্য আজান ends?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
থ্যাংক ইউ। আচ্ছা, I guess I can start now. Almost ended দিকে আছে। Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. Okay, starting my speech. Okay, before I start my speech, POI preferences are on like the chat, but I will ask for it. Preferably from the opening half, and no need to badger me by opening your voice chats. Okay, and okay, starting my speech in 3, 2, and 1. There was a problem with characterizations on the opening half, because understand that the OG claims that okay, Batman might have prejudice for the system, which probably makes him to act to destroy the system in the very first place. This is a very extreme assumption. So, which OO deals with by saying, look, probably Batman believes in the system. That is also an extreme assumption. We are going to take the opposition at their best here by saying, look, both of these assumptions are particularly wishy-washy. We rather think that because Batman probably still had hopes, because Batman took the fall for Harvey Dent in the very first place, meaning that he had some amount of hopes for the system. But Batman also wants stability within the system, which probably means that Batman wants stability within the system, but also which means that because of the fact that he had those scars in his childhood, which probably made him to act the way that he is, which is to be a vigilante. I think the safer assumption here is that Batman wants a bit of both. Batman wants stability, and that Batman wants stability and to protect the system, and also to serve justice within the system. I think that's the like more charitable assumption here. Now coming on to the rebuttals, the only thing that the opening half probably claimed was okay, you will have belief on the judiciary system on their side of the world. Not tribal. No, that is not true. Because first you understand that the reason why Batman rose in the very first place was because he was validated by the people in the very first place. That is to say, this inherently proves that people had belief in a vigilante. That is to say, people do that when they're at the worst possible when they're at like their worst, when the CJ system is at its worst possible state, i.e. Mohammadpur right now. In that particular case, I think it is very likely that like the people won't have belief in the judiciary system in your side of the world because a dark knight was there in the very first place. But secondarily, even if that's not true, I think even if crime is less right now, doesn't necessarily mean that it will increase, because crime has has increased in the past, which means that which means that criminals will follow the trail of the past criminals and increase crime and increase the amount of crime from within, which means that there will be new crime circles within Gotham City, like from the next moment, so on and so forth. Then they go on to talk about movie stuffs and how like a symbol is important. I will to talk about that just now. Why do we think that Batman is a better symbol of justice? On this particular accord, I think Faisal here at the last moment of his speech explained why there is a symbol vacuum in the city. I would like to extend on that. I think that there is a symbol vacuum in the city, which is to say that the White Knight or Harvey Dent is dead, who was a hope to the people, who served justice in the daylight, while Batman was doing the shady works during night time, right? That is to say, when people were feeling the most helpless, these two people stepped up, meaning that meaning right now, because their White Knight is dead, and because their black knight, because their dark side or whatever is kind of besmirched by the public because of all the accusations, because of him not following his no killing policy, because of him killing their White Knight. At that moment in time, I think there is hope, there is like hopelessness among people, because people in these particular areas panel are particularly likely to have hopeless issues. These kind of people already prefer mob justice to no justice at all, right? At that moment in time, I think a normal people, a really normal people would like to be safe outside of safe outside of their home, knowing that they're going to be safe, versus probably living in a dystopia probably living in a dystopia in which they're not safe, right? At that moment in time, I think the moment in time Batman steps in, he's going to be a better symbol. He's going to be a better symbol. But secondarily, and this is very important, we believe that the moment in time that we expose Harvey Dent, it doesn't necessarily tarnish all of the things that he has done. Of course, Harvey Dent has, at the end of his life, probably diminished some of his image that he has made, right? But the only thing that exists in their side of the world when they don't expose the truth is a god complex of Harvey Dent, which probably means, like literally Bangabandhu out there, which probably means that this particular god complex is something that people can relate with. It's something that people can really be like, okay, I want to be like Harvey Dent, because the image that you capture of Harvey Dent is something that is all white and no dark. And but people are not made that way. People want to feel like people, and children want to be like human beings, right? And at that moment in time, for you to even idolize Harvey in the first place, you need to expose this particular truth, even if it harms some of his image. Secondarily, why do we think that Gotham people feel safer in our side of the world? Understand that this is also like this also has connections with Batman's happiness. So I think this is like his primary goal or whatever. I think CJ system is better in our side of the world, which is already kind of explained by OG. But even then, I think because of the fact that we provide the characterization that even if there is no White Knight out there, why do we think vigilantism is particularly better? Because we believe that vigilante people support vigilantism the moment in time that the CJ system fails to catch the big guys, right? What am I trying to say here? The thing is that even in the best possible case scenario, I think what CJ system in most cases fail to deliver is when it comes to the big guys who are like part of a head of a crime ring, right? What Batman does is he puts hope in people's mind by committing these miracles that probably makes them believe, okay, no one is out of the law. Even like the head of a crime ring or whatnot is not out of bounds of the law, right? And at that moment in time, I think it gives people hope and it terrorizes the criminal to not commit any crimes, which probably means that Gotham people probably feel more safer, even in a world where there is vigilantism rising. Secondarily, and this is a pre-bud, we believe that mob justice is not unlikely, right? Because there is a god complex surrounding Batman, right? No one can be Batman. Already told by OO right here, right? So at that moment in time, I think that like even if Theo claims that there is going to be like some amount of mob justice, it's not going to happen. Overall, I believe that we win this debate, particularly due to the reason that both OG and OO did not concede to the fact that Batman might want both. But we tell you that even if that's the case, that Batman wants both the stability within the system, where he does not want to literally destroy the system. That's a very extreme assumption. But also because Batman wants justice, I believe that this is very likely in our side of the world, and this is going to happen because I already told you that there is a god complex surrounding Harvey Dent's character, which can be like mitigated by doing that, which means that you have hopes of probably manufacturing more Harvey Dents in your side of the world. But also secondarily, we tell you that the people in their side of the world probably feel safer because now that their vigilante leader is out, is like there for them. Now they have a symbol to cling to hope, right? right? I believe that a guy in Mohammadpur probably will feel safer even if someone takes the law in their hand, because if it means that they can like just send their kids to school in the very first place, this is what makes people feel safe. This is what makes Gotham stable in the very first place, and this is something that Batman can do even while staying in the system. He doesn't want to destroy the system, and that's why we win this debate. Proud to be CG.
All right, thank you, sir, for that fine speech. Calling upon the member of opposition to start their case. Here, here.
Okay, assuming I'm audible, I think POI's true voice, just don't badger me. My pronouns are she, her. Starting in three, two, one. Let's frame out OG first, right? What do we get from OG? First thing we get is that, if you're not there to protect Gotham, then the city will go down a shit show. Everyone's gonna do crime and it's just gonna be horrible. People are gonna be dying. Why does OG assume that just because people hate him, he can no longer act as a hero? Two reasons why we think that's untrue. Firstly, OG agrees that he doesn't care about fame. He doesn't care about companions. Guys, literally, Batman is someone who is a literal someone who writes soul. He doesn't care about validation. He is not a pick me. The info set also says that people already have criticized him. He was a controversial figure because his methods are not legal. The last thing he cares about is validation from the people. Second thing, he's a vigilante. It doesn't matter if the public or the police cooperate with him. He just needs to use his weapons and go and catch the bad guys and drop them off on a jail, right? He does not need help from the people. The government do a really horrible job at telling me why just because I didn't expose Harvey Dent, just because people hate me, I can no longer work as Batman, right? Moving on. Second thing, then Sanjana tells it, oh, you have this shows the fault of the system, and that the system can never be repaired, and that vigilantism is the only way. Why is this problematic? Four responses. Firstly, now politicians have a scapegoat to escape accountability. They go like, okay, look, Harvey Dent tried to do something, but at the end of the day, he got corrupted as well. He ended up not being able to control his emotions. He ended up killing a lot of people, right? He couldn't rely on the system. The system is out of like the ability of being saved, right? Politicians no longer even try to like save the system because now they have an easy way to get out of accountability. Second thing, people never try to actually change the system. No, that's what Batman as a child probably wanted. He wanted people to step up and improve the system, right? Now that people see that Harvey Dent is also a bad guy, and that people who are trying to do good in the system never survive for long, now he's also going to, now less people are likely to want to change the system. Thirdly, it's unsustainable. Batman or you will die at some point knowing that no change has come about, because after you, there's no one to protect Gotham. Even if you now have, for example, have a Robin who is there to inherit you, you are not happy because this is unsustainable. How many more Robins do you need to create? How many more people need to have their dads and moms killed before the system actually changes? Fourthly, it's risky. You are Batman, aka Bruce Wayne. You had money and power. Fans don't understand that because they don't know who you are behind the mask. So you have many people, primarily irrational hormonal teenagers, trying to step up and become Batman because A, they probably face the same tragedy and they have lost hope in the system, or B, they just want the spotlight and think being a hero is cool, right? So you are not me. These are people who are not in the right state of mind when they're deciding to become a hero. They will never make rational decisions. They don't have the proper facility, the capacity to be a good hero who can protect himself. So you will have many people going in and improper training and many people dying. Understand, the moment in time Katniss in Hunger Games realizes that she has fucked up is the moment that another young girl comes up to her and goes like, oh, I want to be a victor like you. She knows that she doesn't want these people to go to the same pain and trauma of literally sacrificing their entire life to win a game. This is something they don't want. This is something he probably doesn't want, right? Also, this is bad because A, you not only feel the guilt that I just told you about, but B, when these people vigilantes die, these kids die, the entire city blames you for those deaths, right? Then thirdly, Faisal tries to squirrel this entire debate by saying that, oh, he wants to take down the system. Does he want a world with no police or government officials? Why is this untrue? A, he wouldn't have worked with Harvey Dent if he did not want the system to improve. If he hated the system so much and wanted to take it down. B, he doesn't want Harvey to be a hero, right? He doesn't want Harvey to have that chair, right? Understand, brother, he wouldn't have tried to cover up for him in the first place if he didn't want Harvey to be a hero in the first place, right? What he wants is to remove corrupt people. We will show you why we are the only one that can do that, right? Then lastly, Faisal literally knifed Sanjana by saying that vigilantism increases when Batman is not there, right? Why, even if I take him at that, why is it still unlikely to be true? Because Harvey still exists as a hero. Batman can still function as a hero, which they have proved, like, failed to go ahead and like prove why that will never happen, right? Then let's deal with frame of CG next, right? CG tells me, oh, there's a night vacuum. Unlike, like, there's like no the White Knight has dead, the Black Knight, everyone hates him, right? This assumes that other Harvey Dents don't step up, and this assumes that Batman can no longer work. But B, this is an actor emotion. I don't care if people feel safe. I can still work to protect them and keep them safe. That's what matters to me, not that feeling, but tangible benefits. Know that Harvey probably only yeah, anyways, second thing, think about Harvey Dent being too perfect, right? You need imperfection. A couple of responses to that. Firstly, what do you think a role model is, right? Okay, let me just go ahead and tarnish the reputation of my role model so that it becomes more relatable and more people want to become like him. Said no one ever. B, why do you think like people after this exposure, people are likely to still respect him in the first place. You know, this is a person who couldn't handle his wife being killed and went on a killing rampage and killed innocent people. Many of these innocent people probably were your sisters and your mothers, right? You will have no sympathy for this man. It's completely irrelevant for them to consider, oh, now that it's a dead person, they're likely to respect him. We tell you they don't. They think the system is horrible and there's no faith. Which brings us to our extensions, right? Why is it important, right? Why is it important to have that? Understand, you live in a world where there's like so much corruption, right? Harvey Dent was probably the person who inspired so many people to get into the track of like being a good guy, right? Harvey Dent showed that no, this system is not entirely corrupt, that there is still hope in this system, right? The fact that you expose Harvey Dent literally proves the fact that power corrupts you and it's impossible to climb to the top of the ladder and still want to take care, still want to go ahead and take out people in corrupted positions. But B, it also the fact that this is a city which had like a high crime rate and you were afraid to step up, but now you're going to step, now you have no other person to look up to because the only person who stepped up literally had his wife killed. So you're afraid that your entire family is going to kill the moment you decide to go against the bad guys, because now the bad guys are going to try and kill you and Batman will never be able to protect you from that, right? Understand the fact that now you take away one single role model, you reinforce all of those stereotypes, and now like people stop wanting to be a Harvey Dent to begin with, right? Even if people do step up, right, bad guys like the people in the government still use Harvey Dent as an example that look, you can never change the system by being a Harvey Dent, right? Then understand, if ops or gov's entire concern is that, oh, now you can no longer work because you didn't expose Harvey Dent, we tell you there's loads of other counterfactuals, right? You can, for example, push the blame onto a villain. There is a lot of incentive for you to do that because you probably want to still be Batman somewhat, and you probably want people to have a beacon of hope that is Harvey Dent's untarnished image, right? And you still have the capacity, you have the connections to choose a villain who has no family whatsoever to receive that blame, and you have the ability to fabricate all of that evidence because you do have the evidence of how these people died, right? So people will probably believe you again because a lot of people looked up to you, so they were probably in denial that no, Batman could have never done this. So people are likely to believe that no, this was a villain that actually did this, but you could have never found, and you were in denial, and you thought that you were the one who did it, right? People are likely to believe that as well, right? That even if this person is shunned for life, you still have a lot of people becoming Harvey Dents. Your entire life was dedicated to create more Harvey Dents, right? No one wants to sacrifice their personal life to do a risky job like being a vigilante. You only stepped up because the system failed. You have the desire to have make the system much better. You will derive much more happiness and will be able to rest easy knowing you fully avenge your parents by kickstarting structural reform, which only happens when you have Harvey Dent's entire uncorrupted image. We're very proud to oppose.
All right, thank you, ma'am, for that fine speech, calling upon the government whip to end the case for Gotham. Here, here.
I'm gonna take 2 seconds to set up my timer, and my POA preferences are over mic. So if I refuse, don't badger me, please. Anyway, so yeah, starting in 3, 2, 1. So first of all, some responses to CEO. Firstly, they try to sell to us that Harvey Dent will be shown as a criminal character, or maybe in a very negative light, and then etc. and stuff like that. First things first, why you assume the moment Batman will expose Harvey Dent or tell others of his crimes that he committed during that brief era that he had when he was suffering from grief, that people will actually forget all of his legendary things that he has done in the past, or will forget his legacy and will only hate him for that one thing that he did, which was very human of him because his wife died. Okay, so why do you think people will just through that one event will just prove him to be a criminal? And also a side note that it has been mentioned in the info slide that people will believe Batman if he exposes him, and Batman will never show Harvey Dent in a bad or negative light. Rather, he will try his best to justify his actions, because if he didn't believe Harvey Dent to be justified, he wouldn't back up for him in the first place. So why is the opposition side assuming that as soon as Batman exposes him, all the people in Gotham City will be against him, will be heartbroken and crying over him and something like that. When all they will ever learn is Harvey Dent was also a human and nothing like untouchable or something like that, and they'll ultimately bring down the god complex and stuff like that. Second response is they're saying they're trying to say that if Batman comes back and exposes Harvey Dent and stuff like that, vigilantism will become rampant and people will try to vigilant themselves and stuff like that. Blah blah. This thing is mutually exclusive because already in your and in my world, Batman has existed, vigilantism has existed in Gotham. So in both worlds, there are going to be vigilants who are trying to be Batman or someone like that and try to take maybe a law and a law order in their own hands and stuff like that. But in our world, at least you have Batman to actually cover up for those things. Like you actually have Batman who will actually work with the system and represent vigilantism, rather than someone, rather than a group of bunch of people who are just trying to be vigilant and just take a law and order in their own hand, because like Harvey Dent got killed and stuff like that. Second, thirdly, they assume the entire opposition bench assumes that we're trying stating the extreme case that Batman will come back and destroy the entire system or something like that. But it doesn't work like that, because from the first, Batman has cooperated with the system. So this vigilante named Batman has cooperated with the system from the first. So why would he come back and just suddenly try to destroy the entire CGS system and not just work with them? So that doesn't make sense either. And fourthly, they said that even if it's a death symbol, Harvey Dent is better as a symbol because he will give better hopes. The thing is, a death symbol doesn't give hope to people because ultimately he got killed in the procedure of doing something good. So they're gonna realize, the people are gonna think that if I do good, if I want to step up, ultimately I'll have to give up my everything. I'll have to give up my family, my loved ones, and even my own life. So they will be even more scared to step up at this point. So a death symbol, yep, you accepted.
Either way, Harvey Dent's family would have been killed on either side of the world. Why does it make a difference?
Because ultimately when you bring back Harvey Dent's past, you're gonna tell the people that ultimately this person was a human, and this person was a human, and even while having these grief feelings and stuff like that, he did all these good things, and he did all of the, he climbed to that part of that ladder, maybe not to the top because he was a human at the end of the day, but you're actually giving hope to those people, hope to these people, hope. um is there any problem?
Please mute yourself.
Oh shit. Okay, so should I just resume? It's like 4 minutes in my timer.
Yeah, you can
I
resume.
paused your timer.
Okay. Okay, where was I? Okay. Starting my speech again in 3, 2, 1. So yeah. So if we analyze this debate structurally from the first, OG comes up and gives us some arguments that Gotham needs saving and stuff like that. That ultimately my first speaker comes up and explains to you in greater details that why exposing Harvey Dent will actually make people believe in the CJ system even better, and Harvey will not be hated, and Gotham will actually have a better chance at saving themselves against crimes. Then OO comes up and OO suggests that Gotham doesn't need Batman anymore. Their CJ system is well enough and it's on its own and stuff like that. But throughout the movie series, we believe it has been made clear enough and obvious enough that the kind of underground criminals Gotham has is out of reach of CJ system of that area, for which Batman was born in the first place, to help them through vigilantism, which brings us back to our own arguments in this debate. So we believe that once Batman's own happiness actually depends on the criminal justice system being ensured in Gotham, and being Gotham's people's happiness being ensured. So once he comes back and he exposes Harvey Dent, Harvey Dent will come out of that god complex that was over him, and more people will be likely to try to be Harvey Dent and cooperate with vigilantism at the same time of obeying system, because Batman needs these people in the system to cooperate with him and take out the criminals and criminals of the system, because ultimately when people believe that Harvey Dent was something like a god and something who died in the process of saving Gotham and stuff like that, they're not they're not gonna speak up because they think that I'm not maybe capable enough of being him. So once this god
Right.
complex is solved, maybe it's gonna be better for manufacturing even more Harvey Dents with him. And secondly, the CJ system is much better under a vigilante like Batman, because he knows that once these underground criminals that are under from like away from the grasp of CGS system, they start flourishing again. The CGS system will never be able to catch them because of the restraints of law and order. So in a city like Gotham, which has been like explained in this debate well enough, I don't feel the necessity for it. We believe that a vigilante like Batman is totally required for the CGS system to actually function. And since he actually cooperates with the CGS system and he never killed innocents or some, even the criminals, so we believe that if he has this moral obligation that O has clearly stated to come back and in order to come back, he has to expose Harvey Dent and expose and clear the things that has been accused of him. Because since he's been banished from his own society, and lastly, we have explained why exposing Harvey Dent would actually increase people's faith in CGS system. Because ultimately, once the vacuum of Harvey's death and Batman's accusation will be filled once again by Batman and working in cooperation with CGS system, this thing that he had in under his name of being against this these accusations will be cleared, so people will be more faithful in the CGS plus a vigilante system itself. So yeah, proud to propose.
Thank you, ma'am, for that fine speech, calling upon the opposition whip to end the debate for this tournament. Here, here.
Yeah, I'll just take 5 seconds. Okay. Cool. All right. Okay. Assuming I'm audible, starting my speech. Okay. Starting my speech in 3, 2. Okay, sorry. What is happening to my timer? Let's have a second. All right. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. The way that anyone wins this debate is by proving to you that if this is an actor motion, they satisfy the main incentives of the actor. If we prove to you that on our side of the world, from CEO, we're able to satisfy the biggest incentive that, if in this case you want to consider the vigilante to be Batman, if we can prove to you that we are the only team that satisfies Batman's incentives truly and fully, we win this debate over any other house, right? Then, if that is then the case, what are his incentives, right? Two incentives primarily. Firstly, he wants to make Gotham good and safe, right? He wants to make Gotham safe enough for the people of Gotham. He wants the people of Gotham to live a safe and secure life. He wants to reduce crime in Gotham. But he wants to do this with legal ways. He does not want to promote vigilantism. He wants to do this in a legal way. He wants people to have faith in the system. He wants the system to be idolized, not him. Why so? I'll give you the analysis in a minute, right? Because 3 reasons as to what proves that Batman actually wants people to have faith in the legal system and not idolize vigilantism, right? First and primary reason, which my first speaker literally already tells you, which is he supported Harvey Dent. Understand the fact that Harvey Dent was a character. Sure, Gotham was completely riddled with criminals and Gotham was a shit show, if anything, for a lack of words, right? If Batman came in and he thought he was the only one, vigilantism was the only way in which he could save it, and the legal system doesn't work and everything, if this was the notion he had in his mind, Harvey, who is a person who literally stands for come to the law abides, the law will serve you, the law saves citizens. If he's a man literally standing for the law, Batman supporting Harvey literally tells you that he wants people to have faith in this law. If he did not want people to have faith in Harvey Dent, if he wanted to promote vigilantism, he would have probably ostracized Harvey Dent or shown that the law doesn't work. Because he does not do this proves to you that he actually wants people to have faith in the system. Secondly, he knows that vigilantism isn't going to change Gotham or make Gotham a better place in the long run. Why is this the case? Firstly, because he understands the fact that he is a unique person. He is, if we are saying his vigilante is Bruce Wayne, in this case, he was trained by the most elite warriors on the planet Earth. He has all the money in the world. He has the unique ability to not die at the hands of any villain. He has the unique ability to fight off any villain. He knows that other people within Gotham, regardless of how good they are, do not have that same capability, which means he knows that vigilantism isn't a sustainable option, and vigilantism isn't something that Gotham is going to profit from or benefit from in the longer run. In the longer run, vigilantism, if it were to be idolized, it will only increase deaths in Gotham itself, right? Another proof of this is, if he loved vigilantism so much and if he wanted to idolize vigilantism, no POI, why would he take the blame in the first place? He would have never taken the fall for Harvey Dent if he wanted to idolize vigilantism, because he had the perfect opportunity. By painting Harvey Dent black, he could have taken everyone's faith off of the legal system and stood up and said, look, the legal system literally doesn't work. You had one beacon of hope, it's gone. Look, even he turned corrupt. Instead of using this to his advantage, he decides to take the fall. Why? Because he wants people to have faith in the system, right? Moving on then. Onto my comparatives, right? On government side of the world, even if we take government at their absolute best case, right? Batman is idolized. No one believes the law. People love vigilantism. People believe in vigilantism. Why is then still our absolute worst case much better than them? Firstly, even if in our worst case, Batman is hated, no one can see the sight of Batman. He's called a traitor of Gotham. He's called a monster in Gotham. Even if that's the case, we give you a very unique set of analysis as to why even if Batman is hated, it will not be a problem. Why? Firstly, two reasons. Firstly, Harvey Dent created an inspiration. He was an inspiration of white justice. He was an inspiration of legal hope, which resonated with most people in Gotham, which means that there was a wave of dents coming up, because everyone saw Harvey Dent is becoming successful. He is staying true to his words. He's giving people justice through legal means. People believed him, and so more Harvey Dents started popping up, which means even if in our worst case scenario, Batman is hated, you still have those Harvey Dents coming up because you never tarnished the actual Harvey Dent's reputation, which means people still think of no POI. People still idolize Harvey Dent as being a hero and follow in his footsteps, which means people still have faith in the system. There are more Harvey Dents coming up. Which means in the future, in the longer run, you still have white justice preserved, right? Secondly, Batman, again, this is something my first speaker talks to you about. He is Batman. If the system could take him down, they would have taken him down years ago when he was the only sole power terrorizing Gotham, right? But they didn't, because they can't. Hence, even if he's hated, that cannot stop him from continuing on his vigilantism, from continuing to help people however he sees fit. Why do we then uniquely win this debate? We win this debate over OG and CG because my first speaker literally outframed their entire case. OG's entire case was just based on Batman wants vigilantism to be idolized, which both of us frame out exactly why that's not true, and why even if that were true, in the longer run, it would not be a sustainable option, and why in the longer run, it does not cater to the actor's incentive, because the actor's incentive is making Gotham a safe place, is making Gotham a safe place. We tell you exactly why. If vigilantism were to be idolized, Gotham in the longer run does not become a safe place, because again, because this is not a sustainable method. You will not have Batmans popping up. Maybe you'll have a few rampant teenagers trying to be Batman, but in the longer run, all that happens is they get killed because no one has the same skill sets as Batman, which means it's not sustainable, even their best case scenario where vigilantism is idolized, right? But we tell you how vigilantism is not likely to be why vigilantism isn't something that should be idolized, because that's not what Batman wants. He wants people to have faith in the legal system, which happens solely in our side of the world. Same for CG, right? This is very funny coming from CG, because CG says that even if Batman exposes Harvey Dent, people will still see Harvey Dent as a human and consider him committing murder as just an emotional act of distress. If that is then the case, what CG is literally doing is validating murder. They're saying that, oh, everyone can be a bad person at least one time in their life. So if I'm depressed, I can go and blow up a train station because that wouldn't be a problem. That's justified, right? Hence, NR impacting is larger than OO. Hence why we win this debate over all other houses. Very, very proud to.
Thank you, ma'am, for that fine speech. You guys may move to the auditorium, I guess. Requesting all the other adjudicators to join me in the discussion room. Thank you.